Fratelli Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratelli Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.
E benvenuti, welcome, ciao a tutti ragazzi, benvenuti in a new episode of Fratelli di Rugby Podcast. Tonight here to review the last couple of rounds and the situation of the two Italian franchise, and then we're going to jump into the Outdoor Nation series, talking points, Italian squad, how we arrive to the game against Australia, which is going to be in 2 weeks. Because this weekend we're gonna put an eye on England, Australia, but that is what we're gonna talk about tonight. We're happy to talk with you in the chat, but I'm much more happy than that because I can talk to you, Mike, straight away on stream. Robert, buonasera. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, buonasera a tutti. Yeah, I'm good. Otto, how are you doing? You good?
Very good. Spent some days in Italy, in Sicily. Fantastic. And it's interesting when you arrive to the airport, you can see two rugby fields just there close to the airport. Now, I don't know which team played there, but it was nice to see a couple of, just remind me of rugby, even there under the volcano. But yeah, pretty good, Mike.
Good. And how you saying you caught some sun, ate some food, enjoyed?
So much food, man. Everything fried. Give me something fried, I will eat it. All the fish, all the anchovies and the sardines.
Yeah, no pasta pizza there, no.
Pasta and pizza, of course.
Pasta pizza, like in.
No, not those stuff. Not the pizza tortellini.
Yeah,
not the stuff.
No, good. It's good to have you back anyway. So yeah, we got lots to talk about, eh?
So let's jump just into the first game, the home game of the week, which was Benetton versus the Stormers. The Stormers, we can talk about them a little bit too because both teams may meet the Stormers during these couple of weeks, the Italian weeks for them, not for us because two loss for our teams. But let's go into the game. Benetton Stormers, Mike, your feelings after this game?
Relief. I know they came up short. Stormers are probably one of the best teams in the URC at the moment. They're one of the favourites to win it. And for large proportions of the game, I thought Benetton were in it, and I thought they were a little bit unlucky at the end. I don't think the score reflected how close it was, especially if you take the marginal issues out. So like the disallowed try, and then obviously the try that they scored right at the end. If you take those out of the equation, it looks like a much closer game. And who knows, right? Had the TMO not come in for that clear and obvious knock on, then. It's one of those. Obviously, emphasis on the clear and obvious.
Mike, what it sucks probably was the last try in the last action of the game. That was like, come on.
Yeah, they didn't need that.
That was a slap in the face.
Yeah. But then again,
except that, as you said, Mike was a good team. They managed well those few opportunities they had in the first half to stay put together and just put pressure, kicking with Umaga hot strike of kicks. And then the second half changed because he missed one that give you the opportunity to stay closer, to put some pressure on them, to regain on the territory. But not that bad.
Not bad at all.
We look back.
But especially if we take into parallels the week before, right? Obviously, there's a lot to be said about how Benetton play away and compared to how they play at home. And they need to start finding a way of being able to replicate that home, the capabilities that they play at home, obviously elsewhere, for them to be real contenders. That said, Otto, you can't fault them. They played the game. I thought some of the new combinations played really, really well. The ones that you and I have been asking for 2 years now, we're starting to see come organically into the team, and we can see what they can do. So lots to be excited for. I think for those of you guys, no naysaying here, no doomsday. I think very positive. Relief a little bit in terms of how they came back, and McRae sort of clearly has a decent hold on the team and where they want to go emotionally.
I think, Mike, a couple of positive for me from these games. Also thinking about maybe with the next one in the end of November, let's say. This has been the first big portion of the season for Treviso, and I think if we put together how many points they gain in, let's say, in these five games, at the end they got 9 points against the same teams they met last year. Was different time of the year, okay, but they get 0 points last year against Connacht, Glasgow, Lions, Edinburgh, and Stormers. So for me, that says something. Of course, last season was higher on the results because they at this point of the season they got already 12 points instead of the 9 they have now. But I think they're working really hard on the understanding of the way they want to play. Sadly, Mike, or maybe it was just a warm up, we saw the combination you said, Marie Menoncello, only now at the end. So it's a warm up for international games. It's one of the guessing because Marin in that position as a center with Menoncello. But between the whole players, because now we have to think about how long they're going to stay, the Australian players too. Asiata, it was put it away, let's say, not fit enough maybe for this team, which sucks because it was one of the players that scored the most tries last season from their team. Works on really well. Bryant has some sparks and seems more ready to be 22 than Koroyadi, for example, last season. I like the way he played, but that's it. And then Flock scored a try against Japan, and who knows he's going to play against us next in 2 weeks against Italy. In general, or the former, let's say, player. But Treviso is growing. I like the way they're trying to use more Idzekor in the last two games. Two against Edinburgh was really good to see him playing there, and how they stick to the shape they want to put in the field. Second option, always the two players wide. They try to keep the wide and have the wing coming inside and play a lot more than before. Mendy and Linak, those two players that are giving something more in that position, more than Ratave, for example. Which is
I 100% agree, and I actually think just on the balance as well. To be fair to the team, it's also players like Lamaro, which I thought played one of the best games I've seen him play in a long time. He was everywhere. He was cropping up on crash balls. He was busy. That's the best I've seen him play in a long time. He was very impressive. He was one of the best players on the pitch. So
4 games for start from Lamaro this season.
Yeah, I think he needed a good run of games, but he's starting. You can see he's starting to build his confidence. The way he talks to the players at the scrum and stuff, the way he talks to the ref, he's constantly in there. That's what I wanted from him 2 years ago. Now we're seeing it, and if he can find confidence in his game and start seeing sort of showing some of the stuff we know he can do, he's going to be really, really interesting for us this Six Nations because. There's life left in that dog, There's not, people talk online. I see value in his experience. I see value in his leadership, and like I said, if he can find some confidence, he's going to be a really valuable player in this autumn tests.
Mike, talking about valuable players and also expensive player, what's the situation with Fegito until now? After this, he's gonna skip the 2 games with Tonga, so he will be back straight with Treviso after these 2 games. But it was necessary that tackle, that shoulder at that moment of the game, because it seems like a leitmotif in the last 2 seasons. Sometimes happen with Fegito this.
Yeah, he hasn't adapted to the rules as well as some of the other players, but if it 1 in 30 of his are high, that's too many. If he completes 15 tackles a game and 1 in those 2 games is potential to be high and potentially be problematic, that's too high. I think right now, if I was a defensive coach, I'd be looking 1 in 100 is probably like an acceptable amount. If 0 is ideal, but if you're going to make a mistake, because sometimes it happens, you want it to see it like once every sort of 5-6 games, 7 games. We're seeing it too frequently. That said, it's a shame for Tonga. I actually feel for Tonga, not allowing him to play, but Otto, you're right. It was unnecessary, and this is the sport we watch, and this is the sport we love. Otto, like, we have to protect the players. If not, what's the point?
What's the point exactly of those? Because are those situations we can see the same happening with the tackle from Dominguez in the other game. Those are situations where you really don't need to lose a player, because those teams they play against are teams they know how to put pressure on you and on the scoreboard more than everything, which is the one that hurts the most. Then 5 minutes just being there on the bags, let's say, on the shields, sugli scudi, just defending it's something, but if not, they score, which hurts most. Mike, a couple of stats in general from the Zebre player. Spagnolo is one of their best, our best juggler in the whole URC. Second position after Rudolph for the Bulls with 7. Locatelli with 6, is just one behind. So Spagnolo doing a lot of job there, actually. One of the best. And of course, Umaga is scoring really well, kicking. But what is interesting, more than the 5 tries scored by Lainag, for me is Najo Mendy, Kiki Mendy, is third one for meters gained.
I'm not surprised.
And
he's brilliant.
He's doing really well with the team. And if we think that, for example, he missed 2 games, Mike, in all of this, because yes, he came on with the victory against the Lions home, the first game of the season for him. So even more, just 3 games, he's already up there. He knows how to run.
Yeah, I want to say, like, he's a player that's clearly, like, we were talking a couple of weeks back about developing under the Italian coaches and playing sort of top flight rugby and how he's benefiting from it. He's one of those players who clearly is doing really, really well, and frankly is growing in the game, which is cool. And obviously the other Argentinian players, hopefully Gallo hasn't hurt himself bad. Looked like it was a painful one, but for us to be in a position where Benetton are doing well, and for the good of Italian rugby, I think it's something that we need to start looking at. How can we start getting more out of these players, because they're growing really well. Mendy's doing what he needs to do, but Albornoz not being there and all of these different things, we need to see how we can get more out of the players that are currently there. And I think that's probably McRae's next sort of goal whilst the internationals are on.
Mike, I have a question about, like, who you think is gonna enjoy the most the pause and the international windows, like between the players that will stay in Treviso and the players that will go play with the national team.
I think any player who gets an opportunity should be enjoying that, and I think it depends on where Drago is in all this as well, because I think he's going to get game time, especially with Fekito obviously missing games. It stops over the next 2 days.
Maybe stop, but still, maybe we chose another player will be the 13. You don't know. Maybe it's gonna be. You know what? Now is the time to try somebody else, to give game time to somebody else, and maybe you came from the bench.
Yeah, it's interesting, because obviously for those of you guys who listen and don't quite sort of follow the transfers, Drago was originally a Benetton player last year, and then the back end of last year he was loaned to Zebre, and then he played a couple of games. He didn't play particularly well. If we're being really harsh,
No.
but truthful, he didn't play particularly well. And then he ended up leaving for, is it Mugliano? He went
For
to England.
Mogliano, yes.
Yeah. And since he left for Mogliano, he's played more for Benetton so far this year than I think he probably did the entirety of the last season when he was contracted with them. So let's see sort of where he goes. But he's playing really well. He's been impressive, particularly defensively, since he came back in the Benetton shirt. And maybe, you know, that's what he needed. He needed to kick up the arse. You know, nothing's given in life, so there's that. But I think he'll probably be rubbing his hands slightly Otto at the prospect of getting some game time, and you know, it's an opportunity for him. There's opportunities everywhere now. Gallo, obviously, if he's injured, it's going to be interesting to see sort of what they do for Destiny. I think Destiny probably start looking at maybe getting some game time there if he's not injured himself. And yeah, there's some players there who are probably quite excited by the international break for lots of different reasons.
And there's also Zan Andrea, just to add the other player in the center. They have Drago Marin, please, instead of Figueroa. We'll go also with Hulk, Zan Andrea, there, which I like. So, yeah, Mike, we have one player that I'm waiting to be his best. Of course, is going to be Giuliani, because he's one of those players that play less rugby until now with the Ruzza. 53 minutes played until now. Giuliani 54. Like we are there. The player with the lowest, I think, game time at the moment for the national team. But let's say those are also two players that know how to play. It's not something like a newbie, like or Poco Gianfi or somebody else. So he is one of the players that they know what to do in the field against Australia, South Africa, and Chile. You mentioned, of course, Drago being at Zebre this week, Mike. So we switched to Zebre. Was another similar case with Gallorini, that we said is already in the huddle of the Zebre, but Gallorini moved to Zebre. He came from the bench in this game against Leicester, the baby game. We mentioned like something like that, like
lots of young faces,
young faces, yes.
Yeah.
Not this beer like us.
No, not even stubble yet, mate. Yeah, Battle of the Babies is what I was sort of calling it this morning. I think Otto, like, so much to be excited about. Again, a lot of things, you know, didn't go Zebre's way. I think there was, you know, a couple of like Nocera getting knocked out, and that looked quite bad. I hope he's okay, because he was out cold for a good 5-10 minutes, right? And some of the other things, you know, like it was a tough game for Zebre, but a good learning curve. And players like Gallorini coming on, I thought, I think he's actually genuinely a very, very impressive player. He got over the ball a few times. He was unlucky on some calls. He, you know, the first couple of scrums, he got scrum penalties. Bits are there, Otto. Like, bits are there. Like the first scrum, he was against Slimani as well. So it's not like he's up against like some proper youngster, right? Like there was some decent people in the scrum as well. So yeah, interesting one. Otto, I want to hear your thoughts though. Like I've been excited to hear your thoughts about this game all week. So talk to me. What's going on?
So about Dominguez, because I mentioned it before, we saw the best of Dominguez in the first 20 minutes and then the worst of Dominguez. Probably the worst moment of Dominguez was that scrum middle field, play on him on the right, and then he moved the ball to the left, and the ball under pressure. Those are the Dominguez that I want to see. And then, of course, the red card a little bit after. That cost a lot to Zebre, if you think about like confidence to play with a 9, because then you put the array of position. You didn't put, let's say, a winger. Nobody went there as a winger to play that ball. So on that, atrocious the way it ended up with Dominguez.
Yeah, it was tough, wasn't it?
The good thing, of course, is the bonus point, because a bonus point is needed. They scored, happy for that. A good first half, like Treviso. Second half, with these 20 minutes, 14 players in the field, didn't work well.
Yeah.
If I have to put something positive, Mike, in this game we saw playing Quattrini, Gallorini, Prinsloo, Odiase, Belloni, all kids. I mean, is what we want from a franchise, and it's something that is gonna work no matter what, because those are the players with the Azzurri jersey we saw in under 20 playing, and we want more of those. So that is something really positive. We have to find something that worked. Because why? Because you play, even if it was a different Leicester team, with these young players that have to be ready one day. So these are the games they have to smash their face against the wall, but they're gonna work.
Yeah,
So
I
that is,
agree with everything. I think, like you said, it was a lesson learned. It was a tough lesson, but it was an important lesson for a lot of these players to learn. They need to be sort of clearer with a lot of the expectations from the referee as well. I think there was times where they should have communicated better and they didn't in certain situations. And again, that's probably
absolutely
an understanding of, like, captaincy and leadership, which will come over time. That's something that, especially the captaincy bit, it takes time. But yeah, Otto, like, so much to be excited about. And just on your point on Dominguez, I was really excited after the first sort of 2 positive engagements he had in the game. And like you said, it felt sort of like, okay, cool, he's finding his feet. And I just want to say, like, the tackle technique was poor. Obviously, he didn't intend to hurt that player. Like, that's
no. Everybody tackle in that way, Mike.
Right, right.
He's not the only one. Everybody put the knee on the ground,
Yeah.
tackle in that way.
Yeah. It's interesting that it got it. That's the thing that they focused on, though. So I don't know if there's from the referee, like from World Rugby and the referee union, like if they're starting to sort of cut down on stuff like that. But
It's gonna be hard,
yeah,
because it
right.
happens so often. Like if you want to stop a momentum on a number 8, or with a pod of 9, that is the way sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, if we're talking about stuff that's going to be really tough, right? If I'm sorry, I'm going to go backwards a couple of minutes. Then, if we're going to start refereeing every time a player goes to place the ball and it rolls 2 centimeters forward,
Oof.
every ruck is going to be a scrum.
Okay.
And if that's clear and obvious, when it took 6 minutes and 15 different angles, if that's clear and obvious to me, then and this is all I'm going to say on that, because I didn't want to talk about it. We need to define what clear and obvious means. If you have to look at it more than 4, 5, 6 times, it's not clear and obvious in my eyes, and I'll leave it at that, and we'll walk away.
It's absolutely. It is.
Yeah. So just the Benetton tribe, by the way, for everyone who is wondering, that's why it was chalked off if you haven't watched it, and that's what I'm referencing.
Was not enough covered, Mike. Not enough covered by another player there.
Right? Yeah. That's it.
Only that.
That's it.
Because if you put another player on top of that rack, nobody will see it. Just to say.
Also,
anyway, that try they scored and the other try they scored, really nice. The way they create a space outside wide, and then trying to find Menoncello the inside pass one time, second time in the chicken pass.
Yeah.
So good stuff to see Menoncello moving in that way in those channels.
Yeah.
Taking the right decision.
Yeah, he's definitely relishing his opportunity as, like, more of a decisive player in attack, which is cool.
Belloni is finding his feet.
Sorry?
In this team, Belloni is finding his feet in this team, because he knows what to. Lorenzo said, Odiase, Quattrini, Belloni were awesome. Belloni is getting there, because we see what he was doing with the national team.
Yeah.
But now seems okay. I got it. I have to work on this, and it seems like he's doing good work.
Yeah, he is, and he's growing, and obviously, like the areas of like importance, the defensive side. You know, I don't recall too many going down his channel, so you know he's done well enough on that. I have like more of this is more of a observation, and I'm really interested by this. This isn't this isn't me being disparaging. I'm genuinely interested. I asked my friends on WhatsApp as well, my ex teammates and stuff. No one knows the answer. So I'm going to ask everyone who's listening, and you, Otto, if you know the answer. But when Saracens were playing on Friday, and again it happened against Zebre the other day, when a ruck is formed, is it now legal, or is there a loophole where you can throw the ball out when you're on the ground? Because as far as I understand from a law, when the ruck is formed, you can't do it. And I saw it twice. Tom Willis, they score off it, and obviously Snyman do it. Snyman? RG does it, right, and throws it, and they score, right? Against Zebre, right? So if you guys know, tell me, because I'm actually genuinely really interested, because we're going to see more of that.
Instead of the ball presentation on the ground, they pass the ball from the ground.
When the ruck has been created. Which is not something I because they're committing players, which means there's going to be loads of space around the rucks. If that's legal, we're going to see that all the time, because I think it's interesting, because we're going to start seeing people attack behind the ruck, right? Because people are going to come in, form the column, they can pop it out, one runner around the ruck. There's going to be so much space. It's interesting. So if you guys know, message, because I'm interested. But I saw it a couple of times.
I don't know if maybe it's been like criticized from some defensive team, because that's the point.
Yeah.
Until when goes one in 300 racks, it's fine. But then when is every rack something similar
changed,
to that,
hasn't it? Yeah.
Change a little bit. Because of course you see a lot of teams working on a ball presentation, even keeping the ball lifted in the rack, just so it's easier for the scrum half to move the ball. That is common. You have to present the ball. If you're on the ground, you cannot play the ball. If it's a tackle, you can move the ball. If it's a rack, in theory, not. So I don't know if they also works around the rack format or not, depending by the kind of ref that call the rack every time it's formed. Because there are some ref they do it, other
that's
ones
true.
not.
It is interesting. Like I said, I'm not doing this like to make a point of anything. I saw it a lot. I'm just picking up the 2 points where they scored off it, and like I said, Tom Willis.
I will check. I didn't watch.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But you'll see. I think it's their second to last try. Riccioni, by the way, when he came off, it was, I don't know if you saw that. He's like, he was brilliant, mate. But yeah, like I saw it a lot. But those are the two examples where there was a direct try, and it was less than 2 phases. You know, like they scored directly off it, and it made me think if we could see, because let's be honest, in the Italian team or the Italian players, we got agile players, but they're not necessarily the most physical. So it'd be interesting if we can like just quickly protect the ball, pass it over, attack around the ruck against slow.
Yeah, avoid the block.
Exactly.
Kinda the try we scored against France. There is that beautiful spider cam view, and you can see kind of Giuliani, one of the last racks, pulling the ball out from the rack just to give this ball moving, easy to pass from Pagerello, maybe something similar.
Yeah,
but yes, I agree with that.
It, like, for us, it's about pace, right? So if it's something where we can start deploying stuff that has and enables us to play, you know, accurately and quickly, then these are things where, you know, hopefully they obviously know a lot more than me, but these are questions that need to be asked, right?
Mike, let's get into the team for this Autumn Nation series.
Nice.
So here we go with our forwards. This is the situation with, of course, Fischetti, Spagnolo, Ferrari, Riccioni. Asa is gonna be the joker there, left and right. Di Bartolomeo, Dimchev and Nicotera in the front rower. Then Cannone, Favoretto, Ruzza, Zamboni, Neno, Poku, Gianfi. With let's call Cannone Ruzza the traditional pair duo in the locks, and then the same players of the last let's say couple of years in the back rower, because Lorenzo Cannone, Vincent, Zuliani, Lamaro, Negri, Zegor are those 6 players that it's been first choice, first 6th choice from by Quesada in the last year. So those are there, and then in the backs we have Garbisi, Pagerelot, and Varney, Allandre and Garbisi, of course, on the other side. Brexoncello and Marinazza, Mike. Brexoncello, Marinazza we have here. Capozzo, Ione, Lainag, Pani, and Todaro. So those are the players. Mike, what are you expecting from this team?
I'm hoping that we see expansive, attractive, accurate rugby. That's what I'm hoping. What I expect to see is, I mean, the selection hasn't changed too much. Why not? Like, why can't we say that? And actually, I'm going to, if you don't mind putting Francesco's message on.
Happy.
Yeah.
Despite they won against Gloucester, but happy.
Yeah. So Francesco's, for those of you guys who are listening, has put, today I read a comment from an Exeter supporter who said, "We're third only thanks to Barney." He said, what do we think? Listen to all of the pundits talk about Varney. They're saying how important he is. There was Dan Bigger on another podcast who was talking about it recently as well, saying that, you know, he's changing their ability to attack as well. So yes, he's found his fit. He's found his confidence. He plays a brilliant game. He's kicking. He has more. He seems unshackled, Otto. He needed that confidence. We've said it for ages. He just needed confidence, and he's playing exceptional rugby.
Yes. He fits so well in the Premiership too.
Yeah.
And he's that player that is doing his best too, with the ball, without the ball too, because I saw a couple of folding tackles. So Varney is working. I'm more than happy to see him playing, because we want this kind of Varney, the one that we always seen. Sparks of that, but always the peak of this Varney for me has always been higher than the one shown until now from Garbisi. Of course, Garbisino. Pagerello has different qualities for me, but between the three, still is there. Actually, I don't know if Garbisi, if it wasn't for Fusco injury, was being called up in this thing. But Varney deserved to be there as a finisher. Start him. He's gonna make mistakes, but anyway, as every scrum half does. But
yeah,
super happy.
The thing is, like, each one, and we say this enough, each one has their own USP, right? I don't think we have like MPR. We know what he can do. He's very instinctive. He's got great eye for attack. He knows when to go quick. He knows when to slow down. He's got, like, his decision making is probably his USP, right? He's very French in the way he expresses, like, how he plays. And then Varney's like more anglicized, where it's all about ball presentation, like how you're going to get the ball to hand, etc. Imagine Varney playing in this Zebre team that have played as well. Like, he would have fit really, really well because of his ability to pass and how they want to play. And if we're using the analog of Zebre to the, you know, national team, and that's what's been working with Brunello and Quesada, and they're working together, and that's sort of how they want to attack and stuff. Imagine someone like Varney slotting into how they play. And that's how I see it as well, like MPR as well. What a beautiful way that he could affect it. So you're probably right. There's probably a bit of a headache there in certain respects, you know.
Like, first game against Australia, we playing Brexoncello straight away.
I mean, this is a battle-hardened Australia, isn't it? Like, we need combinations that we know that work. So yeah, I wouldn't mess around too much with the team against Australia, to be honest. I'd go for combinations that we know.
Ioane Lainag Capozzo.
Yeah, perfect.
Bench Marine instead of Allan.
I don't know about that. I've got to be honest. I haven't followed Alan at all this season, so I can't speak. I know he's been kicking pens and stuff. Like he's been doing what he's been doing, but I know Perpignan aren't doing too well.
Mike, the other question is number 10. Is gonna play Garbisi or is gonna play Daré?
Daré is playing 10. Garbisi is playing like fake 10, as the French were saying, right? So they're saying that he's playing a false 10. So if he's playing second receiver and he's playing 12, he's not playing 10, is he? He's not making the decisions in attack. So Otto, it's tough. Garbisi is our test 10, so Garbisi. But I could see Daré, because he's playing 10, he's making decisions in attack. Like I could see him being swapped around in one of the games, as well.
So Marine can be the option like Allan to cover multiple positions. Worst case scenario, Garbisi can move at 12.
Yeah, I mean, in a 5-3, why not both?
In a 5-3, yeah, interesting. In a 5-3 like that too.
Marine can play wing as well. Alan can play fullback. Like in a 5-3, I'd have both of them on the bench. To be honest, it's weird. I know, like, because obviously we have out and out wingers and stuff.
I don't know if with Australia too we go with a 5-3. To be honest, I think more 6-2.
You think they're going to be very forward heavy?
6-2 and 5-3 against Chile.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, they had a couple of injuries too. Some players like who got off early in the game. Salakaya Loto went off. I don't know, Ikitau, my God. Ikitau, Mike, that played a really good game against Gloucester. Ikitau is a player that a few years ago, I probably also comment under some videos that I did about players that is not a Wallaby. Before the World Cup, I remember is probably one of my biggest regrets of what I said in my life, rugby-wise. And it's something that I think sometimes, like, no, I was all for Paisami showing, but then much more solid player, Ikitau, for the way
if it makes you if this is any consolation, Eddie Jones wrote in a book that he didn't think Ollie Lawrence will ever play for England. So if you think everyone gets it wrong, my friend, don't worry.
So Francesco wants to know more falso 10, better than this. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to try?
Mike, you start and then I can add something else.
So this is what I believe they meant, because they didn't really explain it. So he's got number 10 on his back, but he will push out to second receiver and play like a link player, like a 12. So like a second receiver or in certain attacking phases. I think that's what the French publications were trying to mean, but they're not. Obviously, like, correct me if I'm wrong.
The point is also that playing with you play a lot with Seren, and when Seren play, you have to follow him. It's not the 10 that call the ball, to be honest, because it's that kind of 9 that take all the decision. Garbisi is not a kicker usually. If we want to add something to the traditional 10, Francesco,
That's
the
true.
10 is the kicker, not in this case, because usually is number 15 kicking 9, kicking Seren is the one. He doesn't kick that often, but of course the way he play also is much more muscular in a certain way, Mike, muscular, because he try to push more, but it's not that 10 that give you the time for like 5 phases of 5 passes, 5 phases straight. It doesn't seem like, because he came behind, he try to connect, but it's not that play that usually give you attack the player so much to release as Dare does.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's the difference. So Dare will play to the line, and he's more instinctive, and he'll try and unlock defenses, whereas Garbisi is more structured, isn't he? He fits quite nicely into structures. He understands the game well enough to sort of understand what the team should be doing. The problem is, Otto, is executing it if you haven't played that position to dictate where play goes, you know?
Who's playing first receiver then? If it's Brex, that's not different too much of either his plays. Lots in there all the time. Mike, on this is gonna be maybe the option in the situation, because Garbisi is the man, let's say, that can play this because he knows how to play. But to be honest, probably some decision that Derek can give, at least in the second half, I would like to see him playing 10 in one of those two games. Even like more Australia and Garbisi playing against South Africa, fantastic
Yeah,
choice.
I would prefer it that way around as well. Because, the problem is, right, with Australia, you look at those centres and you're like, oof.
Yeah. I see.
See, they've got artillery everywhere.
That 13 moved the ball so well.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Menoncello, Swali. This is going to be something we want to. I look really forward to that. But I don't know both players. But Francesco, if you have a chance, watch some Toulon's game. Even watch some of the videos I did on my channel about him playing 10, and you see. Doesn't look like a 10, look like a 12 that play 10 sometimes, more the way he dictated the game, the tempo of the game.
I'm going to throw...
But it's the style.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you, Otto, right?
Yeah.
If Darre's playing 10, you probably... Who would you rather have at 12, Marine or Brex?
Oh, I want to see both. That's the point. In the future, I want to see both.
Because I think if Garbisi plays 10, Marine would be a good option at 12, right? Because we were just saying someone who's not used to taking the initiative. Marine is all initiative. He's all like vibes when he's running. he dictates the time. Yeah, man.
That is. But you know, Dare Marine Menoncello, I would like to see in one of these games happening.
Let's make that happen.
I would like to see.
Let's write a petition, guys. Let's get this video to 1,000 likes. We'll make sure it happens, guys. Like
Darincello instead of Garbrexello.
That's a bastardization if ever I've heard.
My God,
Darincello, I love
no,
it.
but something. Honestly, I would like to see more than that.
Yeah, I agree. I would love that. Yeah, let's make that happen.
What I expect from Garbisi, to be honest, Garbisi, I want to see. I'm expecting to see solid in defense. I want to see him with the fire in the eyes. Sometimes, not every game is like that Garbisi, but I want that Garbisi, the best Garbisi that. He is going to be so free of mind that he can attack the ball, fake, try to play much more than think, okay, next phase. Something more like that, because he is always really organized in the way he plays.
Yeah, I also think now there's more of an impetus across all of the 10s, because Alan is a great 10 as well, Garbisi. Now that we're starting to build that depth, like now it's up to them to let like QUESADA know who they think should be playing for him, right? So like if it's going to be you know, Alan making a point and you know, playing really well and training really well and all of that stuff, then the others have to up their game, and all of a sudden we're in a position where we've got, you know, 3 really, you know, top quality 10s that we're picking from, and obviously we've got cover from Marine and all that good stuff as well. But it's interesting, Otto.
Mikey, there's going to be a chance for Todaro to play these games. One of the first 2 games.
You think Chile? On the
Chile,
third
I think he will play. Chile, he will play the game.
It's tough, isn't it? Because like he's playing well. I'm going to be really careful because I actually really like him as a player. I just think defensively against the test quality, particularly sort of top best in the best team in the world, and obviously a top sort of 5-6 team in the world. I think he's going to have a long day, and I don't know what that means to his confidence, because he's confident at the moment. Like when you go to watch the Saracens game,
pretty confident. But when you put a young fella that is confident too in front of him on the eyeball,
exactly,
you have to recover behind when they kick you behind. You maybe are able to evade 2 players, but then it's holding the ball on the ground 5 meters out.
We've seen it with Jesse, haven't we? Like he's as much as he's doing really well. Like I think he's very comparable to Jesse in terms of like ability, right? I think those two are very similar in terms of like what they offer. And decision making is everything, and at test level where you have less time and it's less gaps, it's tougher to do what they do. So be careful what you wish for, guys. No one wants to see a young guy lose confidence, but then also who knows, maybe he comes and he absolutely kills it, and we're talking about the next sort of Messiah. So it's one of those
68% Tegel's complexion for him, which is a little bit low. That we need higher there, but because a player like Todaro with the instinct in attack is gonna do something. No matter what, he's gonna gain those 2 meters more that you weren't expecting.
Yeah, and also don't forget, like
the pressure is so much.
I was gonna say, don't forget as well, like he's a 12-15 by trade. Like he's playing on the wing, but he's a 12-15. So like there's always discussions there, Otto.
Yeah, because if I think, let me put this up too. In case of injury, Mike, from this team, if you don't want to call, let's say, another player on the wing, you have Capozzo Pani, the 15 plus Dare Allan. But then on the winger, Todaro will fit into it, because then Ioane, Laina, if one of them is out, Todaro walks in easy, because then you don't have Trulla, you can call Jesse, you can call Trulla when he's going to be fit, if he's going to be fit at the end of the Autumn Nations. But that is interesting. Ines can choose him by going too much Ioane. This is a big point, because for the guy that match the way Ioane chase is Lainag, which is playing fantastic for Lainag. He's doing so much work, even when he doesn't get the ball, but he's always there running and chasing those ball, and it's key in the way Benetton is playing.
Talking about that as well, Todaro against the new wonder kid Kalori, he won a few balls. So like it's not like he's no slouch. It's just the way he won the balls is more on Kalori making them against a confident person in the air who's always prepared to catch the ball. He's going to struggle.
When he jumped on his shoulder, Kalori was so.
Did you see? He almost cleared him, man. That guy's special. Like I'm gutted that he's Swiss. I looked, guys. For those of you guys, I looked. I went through. I went like to library, got an old book.
No, he's Peter chewing gum after a training. You get and take it.
Yeah, mate. I was looking to get a hair, going through a genealogy test, see if he's got enough. Nothing, boys. Italian part of Switzerland, unfortunately for us. But man, he's going to be a superstar. Eh?
Hey, it's Zifolau. That's style. Yeah? Maybe he's gonna say not those bullshit, but still,
just literally ruin his career for first thing he does. But yeah, I think on Robert's point, Monty knows how to score. Monty knows how to tackle. What Monty doesn't traditionally do is fetch, and I think it's one of those where it depends how we look to utilize him. If we're going to utilize him, bring him in more, like Line has been doing at Benetton, then it's one of those, like, is he going to play as like another centre? He's going to come in and carry more and always be an option inside and, go across the pitch for the, like,
Yeah, I'm wondering
for over.
something around 9. Some call like, give me the ball, attack the first player, I'm here. Because that is
And
something
Darcy Graham.
Darcy Graham, yes. But in general, Isgro is doing a lot of that. Matteo Carreras, the 11 from Bayonne, man. Look at this, the first half against Bordeaux. He did a couple of pick and go and a couple of 9 runs. Incredible.
Yeah, I see it. Otto, I love that. It's like the Pani. Oh yeah, Bani's try in the Six Nations last year, like where he comes in centre over, and then obviously passes it over, and then there's the 2-on-1.
So something like that, Mike. In the forwards, the situation is pretty calm, I would say. Like everything is cold.
I want to see a Poku. I want to. I don't care what game. I don't care what the opposition is. I don't care for how long. Well, enough for me to see like what he's like, because some of the videos and guys, if you haven't seen the videos, go on Otto's channel of what he was showing Opoku doing in the Bucks League, which again is an improving league as well. Man, he's impressive.
That is impressive, Mike. The way
what's he bring, Otto?
Man, he's folding players. He's aggressive in defense. He knows how to carry the ball. In the last game, he played a couple of penalties at the end of the game, but still, he does a lot of work, counter-racking and stuff. Bath University has big fellas in the team. Even the 6'5" they were in the first game, they were wild players, to be honest. Really like Sodeke in the under 22nd row, like that. So something like wow. And Carwin Tupulodu, those kind of players, all big guys in Bath. They love it. Yeah. And he's doing well, Mike, for those games that I was able to find online and then to cut what he did, but he did well. If you want to see somebody playing hard, yes, that was the guy.
Yeah. So I've got a question for you as well. So traditionally, gain line has been an issue for us. Who would you pick at gain line, forwards or backs? Who's going to carry? What do you think?
Who in the forwards
or in the backs? Like, where is the gain line going to come from the team that's been selected? Like, where do you see it coming?
On one side, I think we have to find a way still to put Itzegor in the space with the national team. We saw him playing inside the field. I want to see him wild and playing. That is one.
Because we play roots out there normally, don't we?
Exactly. So I want to see more of that. Dimchev is a player that can give us meters. A lot of meters. Is pretty quick and fast in the way. Mm-hmm. And the other one is keeping momentum with our 2 number 8s more than everything. Because Vincent and Cannone are the players that can give us more. One player maybe a little bit under, not under the radar for this, but I feel Zambonin wants to break everything. Literally, I think Zambonin can be a little bit more of a surprise on the carrying. Yeah. But those are the players more. Fischetti is not powerful, but he knows how to step in front of the player and find those 2 meters to give a quick ball. Those are the players. And then, of course, Menoncello out. Mike. Menoncello is the man.
Yeah. Di Bartolomeo as well seems to have been carrying a lot more. Seems like they gave him a bit of a rest as well. It's interesting, isn't it, Otto? Like, there's so much to be excited for.
And I think the way all the team arrives this in November, like I was happy that this weekend Garbisi and Brex were not in the team playing against Toulouse. I was super happy
Rest.
with that because
Yeah.
rested, they played 300 minutes more or less. So okay, that's enough. I think game time management is being great for our players, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
I agree, and they deserved it. And also, we can't play players into the ground like every single other Italian team. And when it
no.
comes to World Cup, we're picking third, fourth choice. So yeah, I agree with you, Otto.
You know what could have been great, Mike? One thing, the opportunity to see this weekend Italia Emergenti. Italia
Yes.
A, that was the
Yes.
only thing that is really missing, is something like that. Because honestly, that is the opportunity for our player to mix it up, to attract other players if we have other players under the radar of the Italian Federation, and to align to what Quesada Fernandez, Hodges, Moretti wants. Dussi wants.
Otto,
That is
imagine a team with like May and Zanandrea, or May and Todaro, and
made Zanandrea fantastic. Todaro 1 week there instead of the other team. In that team, you can put also what is a Trulla. You can put it if it's fit.
perfect.
Those players or Tombino.
Amino Quattrini, like,
Exactly. All
and
those former under 20s, they're
yes,
playing well. And maybe you
getting
can
it.
add those Serie A elite players that Quesada look every week. But that is the only thing.
I
to be
agree. We need to be better with that.
So, Mike, all eyes on England, Australia for this weekend to understand our rivals. First game is going to be in Udine in 2 weeks. And that's it for Fratelli Rugby Podcast for this episode. After 5 games of the URC, we're straight into the Autumn Nation Series. Are you gonna also festeggi Halloween? Are you gonna do something for Halloween?
My kids are. I am going to be far away from that on a comfy sofa. But yes, we do. Yeah, it's big here.
I have 3 Halloween parties this week.
Enjoy, my friend.
Yes. Enjoy another episode of Fratelli Rugby. Thank you guys to be with us. Robert, Francesco for the chat. See you next week with another episode. Ciao a tutti.
Fratelli Rugby Podcast.